What's up, guys? This is the introduction to my podcast, The Fight Against Poverty. My name is Nikita Smith, and these are the topics I'm going to be talking about in my podcast. Universal basic income, which is a new version of Martin Luther King's idea of guaranteed income, and I'm also going to be talking about what is the amount of money to provide for our essential needs, and like what is considered living in poverty. Okay, what are the requirements for you to be considered to be living in poverty? That's one of the things I want to talk about. And in the fight against poverty, which is the ultimate topic, I feel like what Martin Luther King tried to tackle later on in his life, because it's a everlasting problem. Like, it's still here, even though he what I'm referring to is the book he wrote called Community or Chaos. Where do we go from here? I It still exists. Poverty still exists. Homelessness still exists. We're still walking past people. You know what I'm saying? Acting like they're not there because they're homeless. And these are the topics I wanna hit on, because I think about these topics every day, and I said, why not make a podcast? I wanted to make one anyway, so this is the podcast and what it's gonna be about. And I feel like with these stimulus checks, we're going down the path toward universal basic income, because it's only gonna be so many times the Congress has to keep coming into session and voting on this unemployment and stimulus checks and all that. It's only gonna be a matter of time before eventually they're gonna say it's gonna be recurring payments, and they're as of March 5th they're talking about recurring payments as far as I think unemployment. I'm not sure, but the word reoccurring is basically another slang for universal basic income, or whatever form of income you provide. You know, at this moment, we're all in need of it. You know what I'm saying? But another big question I always think of is $1,200 enough? That's what they're paying people with these stimulus checks, a direct payment, and it's not even to reach those who really need it. You know what I'm saying? There's some people that didn't file taxes and that aren't even receiving this money. And they're suffering. They're not seeing any unemployment. They're not on food stamps, and they're going hungry. You know what I'm saying? Those are real problems. That's not what the government is focused on right now. They're focusing on people who already have the money, and or that had the money and that lost jobs, and for them to put the money into their pockets to re-stimulate the government. Not the government, basically, but the economy. But they're not thinking of everybody. They're not thinking about the bigger picture, and that's the fight against poverty, which is what this podcast is talking about. It's gonna be an ongoing battle against poverty. Like, we can't go forward if we're constantly looking back. We're walking past somebody and they're homeless, and we try to look the other way or say we don't got it, knowing that we do. Psychologically, that's damaging. That's damaging. And every day walking past somebody in need, knowing that you could help them, you can't help everyone, but you can help that individual. And when you walk past them, we all have done it. Cause sometimes we our day is bad, all kind of other things, like, oh, I'm going through all this, man. I'm going through the same thing. But that's the wrong way of thinking. And I feel like the UBI, the Universal Basic Income, is a start to fight this, this illness we have within us, to not help the less fortunate, even though we want to. It makes no sense. So eventually, I feel like we're gonna go toward universal basic income, but it's not gonna help everybody. It's not gonna fight poverty at its grand total. It's not gonna help everybody. I looked up the amount of homeless people there was, and that's not the amount of people in poverty. I looked up the amount of homeless people there was, and it was in the millions. No, Congress is not focused on those people. All those people. They only focused on those people who have a job. A lot of people don't have a job. A lot of people don't work. That's what I'm saying. But they're relying on government funding. Which I get that the rich feel like that's a problem. Like that, a lot of people depend on. A lot of people in poverty depend on the government programs, which they ultimately pay for. Which that's what I've been told. The rich pay for in their taxes, and that's the money for the funding as far as SNAP, unemployment, and all that. But those are just some of the things I want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, 3 months to live with $1,200, $1,200 in our current modern day time is unbelievable. Like, if we're thinking about the lowest form, the hotel, I think for a month is like a lot. It's a lot of money, man. It's not in the hundreds for a month. It's not. I don't even think a couple weeks. I think it gets you 500. I think I did the math like before, because I was in a situation before where I had to figure out how much a month of living in a hotel would cost. So I feel like it's you wouldn't want to press a person like that. You wouldn't want to stress a person out like that. You know what I'm saying? We gotta think morally, what morally, like, use our moral perspective on this. Like, a person can't survive with $1,200 for 3 months. No, not without SNAP, not without unemployment, and that's just looking from my perspective. Maybe you can, but I wouldn't want to be pressed like that in that situation. See me, I get unemployment, so I'm great. I'm blessed for my situation, and I feel like that's the best move for me right now. But I'm still one of those people that is waiting for a stimulus check and waiting to hear what Congress says, voting on all this. But I feel like they're missing the bigger picture, and that's the fight against poverty. A lot of people are suffering right now, going hungry, and when I'm going through what I'm going through, I can kind of only imagine. I can try to imagine what those people even start their day with. You know what I'm saying? With nothing. And I'm starting off my day with what, a couple $100 in my pocket, and I'm upset about that. Like, I can't be upset about that, and not talk about the less fortunate. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can't be upset about that. I gotta be humble. I gotta humble myself about that, because there's people out there that's less fortunate. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what the podcast is gonna focus on. Really focus on. I just wanna take this time to introduce the podcast, myself, a little bit about myself. I told y'all I grew up in the middle class, but I seen poverty-stricken environments. Dated a couple females, lived on the south side of Chicago, grew up on the west side. One of them grew up on the west side of Chicago, so I seen it, and I seen how they live their lives. Even some people in my family. So, and another thing about family is financial literacy within the family. Uh, I forgot the term for it. Generational wealth. I feel like that's what a lot of us fall victim, because we don't have the knowledge to the resources we have. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people don't know about taxes, what a tax form even looks like. So you gotta get into the minds of these people, and that's just not what our government is gonna do. They're gonna focus on the top. to the bottom, top to the bottom first. And that's just how it seems to me. But I think the thing about family is you gotta have that structure, that structure of financial wealth. What is it? Because if you don't know what going to this world like I did, not knowing what a tax form look like, what it means to do taxes, filing a dependent, putting zeros and ones. I didn't find all that out until I was doing the taxes. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's just a podcast to learn, debate, talk about ideas. Just be free about the stuff. You know what I'm saying? And hope for one day that these words on this podcast can translate to something in the future, and where we're battling poverty at at its full aspect. Because I like the fact that I'm sitting here recording this video. Somebody's out there with these same ideas that can't record. So you gotta do it for all those people that that can't share. So that's my thing: getting ideas out and sharing it, making it public, and talking about the ideas. And one of these things, topics I have ideas about is poverty. As a child, I always said give everybody $1 million. That, and me not knowing that's a form of guaranteed income. I didn't know that as a kid. You know what I'm saying? But as I grew older, I started hearing the term like I heard Andrew Yang say, "Oh, I give everybody $1,000," and I like that idea so much. It just kind of resonated within me, and I really felt it back to my thinking of giving everybody a million, and give everybody 1,000 a month. I agree. 12,000 a year. I agree. To start the fight against poverty, I feel like that's a good start that we all should be willing to take. Whatever we got to do to make that happen, we should be willing to do it. Hands down. I mean, I'm talking about what's going on in this country right now. Taking that step is I feel like we're already in a bad predicament, and taking that step is the step to recovery. For our illness, like I said, you walking past the homeless or driving past the homeless every day, knowing that they're less fortunate, knowing that you could help in some type of way, but you don't. That's damaging you psychologically. So we gotta fight that illness within us and be more understanding and generous, and really just start to think of ideas. That's what got me so wrapped up in this basically politics, the stimulus checks, the voting on it in Congress. That's what got me into all this. I found a way where I could relate to everybody, and that's through politics, unfortunately. And that's what I'm deciding to talk about. And then one of those things is fighting poverty. And one of those ways to fight it is with politics, economics. So, I mean, that's the first video. I mean, did my best. Like, subscribe, share. I'm going to post this on Facebook. Comment down below. Give me some ideas to talk about. Give me some ideas to debate with you. Go head to head. We could do this. And we just going to fight against poverty. That's all we can do, man, at this point. And where we at right now with this coronavirus stuff, that's all we can do is keep fighting and mainly fight against poverty. All right, peace.